Hey there, beloved Ascension pioneers. Welcome to another update with me, Polona, in the woods, enjoying myself. Someone just recently asked me a question that I felt guided to debate on. There was this question about if you choose, at the moment to more descend, be on a path of more descending. And the person was describing that what this means is that they have chosen a bit more negative, more downward path. So I'd like to discuss this because there isn't supposed to be this, to confusion between descending and actually retrograding, in the spiral. And even when we retrograde, it just seems so. The spiral is always an upward movement. You might come, across a certain cycle in a circle, and you feel, oh gosh, I'm there where I was, but you're not. You're always moving up. All of us are always moving up, even though it might seem that we are retrograding for a moment. Like certain planets that retrograde, for example, Mercury, which is now going to retrograde as well, they just seem to be, from an Earth point of view. So from this experience of this round that we call Earth, so when that person asked me, am I on the wrong path now that I choose and I feel my experiences to be more negative and I'm descending? First of all, I felt guided to explain that these two terms are not supposed to be confused, because descending actually means bringing spirit into body. It means embodiment. It means embodiment of something. That's what descending really means. Retrograding, or moving kind of in a downward spiral, actually also doesn't mean you're really going down, because in the fact of truth, or is just that whenever we experience something, even if we perceive it as negative, it's just an experience that we need on that level, because our soul will always guide us, no matter how much soul is in the body, how much is embodied, the soul will always guide us to have the experiences that we need in that particular moment. So when you look at it from the higher perspective, there's never such a thing as higher, lower. Of course, there's just levels and cycles. And, especially there's no negative and positive. But what you perceive your experiences to be in that moment is actually, in truth, very neutral. You need that, otherwise you wouldn't have chosen it. It's like people think that there's something wrong with them if they're choosing something, or, if there's a collective of beings that are sharing how amazing they're feeling and they're not feeling this at the moment, they're forgetting that it's their unique choice. And no choice is ever bad from the level of creation, how we are really perceived in creation. Everything is always choosing its spiral. We're always on our own spiral of spirit, on our own timeline. But descending is really not to be confused with having a more negative or a positive experiences. It's not like ascending is a positive experience as descending is a negative experience. No, ascending and descending are just two sides of the same coin, so going up in consciousness and then bringing it in the body. I was explaining this in my previous videos. But what is important here is to understand that if you're having negative experiences from your perception, from your own point of view, how you feel your life now to be, is not the same as descending. Because then you're saying, I'm embodying this, and you're just choosing to have a certain experience. Remember this, you can always choose in any given moment to jump the timeline. It's like we're always in the middle through our choices. It's not just, people say we have 2 or 3 choices. You have limitless amounts of them. It's like these infinite perceptions. You choose where you're going to go next. But it's always for some greater benefit. But this trust in people is missing, when they have, for example, in a certain time frame, more negative from that perception experiences, they think, oh gosh, this is repeating too much, so obviously there's something wrong with me. Obviously it's not so. In truth, it's you will have these experiences and go through these initiations of spirit as long as you will choose to, as long as you're still learning something there. So in some levels, it might be even appropriate for us, to have these experiences, because we need to remember something through them. In this world of opposition, a lot of times we have been learning through contrast. Of course, a lot of us is moving to another perception and to a new way of being completely through physical ascension. But like I said, it all has to do with levels. Whatever we need to experience on that level will always be experienced and provided for you through your own soul. It's not like this that people have this fear that ego is choosing for them. And yeah, sometimes you can be an ego, but even that, when you look at it from the higher perspective, it'll be for a reason, because you've learned something. Sometimes it's just learning what you don't want. Sometimes, for example, I'll give you this example. I was just talking about this, I think, recently, that you go somewhere and you don't like the place and it's crowded, especially with us ascending ones. It's now very and easy to be at such places because our vibration is so high, and we just simply no longer choose to experience that. It's not that we can't. People say, oh, we can be in such environments. Yes, we can, but we choose not to be. So if you go to a certain environment and you don't feel like being there, and it feels negative to you, or for example, there's people smoking there and there's too crowded and loud and there's rude people there, what you choose to is you can see why you were in the experience in the first place. And usually it's for us to see through contrast what we don't like, what we can have instead, how we can bring more paradise and more magical essences to our living. So it's always a choice when you experience something like that. And if you say, my life is so negative, I keep having these negative experiences, as long as you will be on that level, before seeing it, what it's served for, and then moving on to a next level, you will be on that level. You'll have these perceptions, you will have these experiences, and it's all fine, because it's you who is choosing in the end. It's not me, it's not someone else for you. Or for example, when people say, why this person is experiencing this and I'm experiencing that? Is something wrong with me? Why is everybody around me experiencing bliss and I'm not? Because their perception has changed. Recently someone has said to me on my page, oh, you're such a blessed one. And I quickly replied that it's not about who is the blessed one. Of course, we all are. But it's about the one who realizes that they are so, and they live it, they embody it, they act this way. They live their life in that fullness of realizing that divine potential in them. So the fact of the matter here is, you're not a victim, you are just choosing, and you can choose like this. Or this person commented as well, oh, you're so blessed to be out in nature, I wish I could have that. And I said, you can't create it, decide for it. Because a lot of times what people do, they have these dreams and visions for something, but they're not making any action steps towards it. The body, you see, that needs to catch up with that. So if I want to have experiences, for example, with going more to the mountains and nature, but if I keep working all the time, doing, and allowing myself the space to be, and then I say, oh gosh, how cruel this destiny is, then I'm forgetting about my creator potential, am I not? So this new cycle we're stepping into is learning that creator potential, activating it, integrating it, fully embodying it by living it. So whatever we are experiencing, it's about the neutrality of seeing what that experience is serving for. And then you decide whether you still want to be there, when you want to be pondering more, whether you want to be pending there, or you want to move to the next step. You see, you can do anything like that, because your soul awareness is working through you, and your soul knows when something is learned. You cannot lie to your soul through your ego and say, oh, I've learned this, and you keep having these experiences that will mirror otherwise to you. Because the fact of the matter is that when you will really learn it, there won't be anything mirroring that experience to you anymore. That's how we know, and that's how we see that we've made the decision and then walk towards it. These are all things that are very important. Or for example, one thing I can also mention here is when people are addressing how to move into the heart space. Because the heart space is actually what is going to get you towards your heart desires, through the soul, and through the will that is greater than just that little I self-will, but the will of the I am, the great I, not the small little I with a dot on top. So it's not that you can describe how you move into the heart. There's a few people who try to do that. I don't know, maybe they even write books about it, how to move into the heart, and they try to analyze it. I don't know. But it's not that way, because you see, the kingdom is within. And then how you walk towards that gateway, how you discover it, is up to you, because each of us will experience that in our own way. We will walk towards our personal vortex in our own way. We will have different experiences that will lead towards that. So when people ask me in personal emails that I just can't really address, say, do you have any advice for me how to do this? How to cope with this, or how to achieve this? I can't, because it's not my journey that someone is describing. I can only speak about the nature of things that are real, the absolute reality of the nature of some things in creation, the universal laws, the principles that apply, and how they are. Like many have been speaking about this, and many masters already sharing on this note. but how you walk towards that, and how you realize that it's always there anyway in you. You're never separate from it. It's just a perception that made you separate. It's up to you. So your experiences will be yours, because your soul path is your unique one. How your source self rediscovers itself and moves back into that space and then embodies itself for you is your own. So people like me and many others, we can just share how it works for us, how we came into that. We can just be way showers. We cannot be advisors or mentors. You see, you have to become your own mentor, and it starts with you trusting your every experience. And it's not that you just become in that higher awareness state by just not really doing anything about it. No observation, no awareness. It's always the awareness. It's the coming into awareness. For example, someone also asked me what techniques I would recommend, after watching my latest video on source healing, because I was saying that it's not about techniques, and I have to address this again. The techniques, or whatever you're choosing, it's your path towards the gateway, towards your personal vortex and your source self. It's not an essence on its own, it's not an entity on its own. It's just a trigger that gets you there. And I cannot know what will work for you. I can just share how it feels on the other side. I can just show this alternate reality. So the experiences that will lead us towards that embodiment of soul and the higher potential through us is unique. All of them are unique. All of them are special. And if we don't learn how to treasure the negative ones from this human perspective as much as we also do the positive ones, then we will never experience neutrality, the merging between the polarity essence of all creation. So my beloveds, I'm going to say goodbye now. I don't know. I think I just finished. I think I said everything I needed to address here. And please don't confuse descension with down spiraling, just retrograding in the negative cycle. That's just the polarity, of experiencing things. But the ascension, what it actually means in its essence, is embodying the ascended state that is already there in you. So take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Sending so much love. Bye.